Department of Labor, and I figured it'd be good to kind of talk this morning. I think we have a really good idea of kind of what the lay of the land is out there from a number of sources. We have a team of dozens of business services, business engagement staff who go around and help businesses. I know we work with a lot of your members as well. Directly on a number of things, but I wanted to share this morning some results that we have. We did a couple different surveys, and then we can talk through some of the services that if you're not already using us that you may find really beneficial. But we did between March and May or so, we conducted a business survey and a job seeker survey. So I want to share some of those results with you this morning because I think they paint a really important picture of kind of where we are in this whole hopefully post-pandemic world, but we'll see. We had 2,000 or so businesses across the state take part. They represented something like 8,000 different business locations. And then on the job seeker side, we heard from 4,100 job seekers. I have a heat map on the right side of your screen. And it was actually very representative. So we had every county, obviously every region representative, all the major industry groups as well. And for the job seekers, it was demographically representative too. Some very clear themes came through both surveys. So I'll first talk about the business survey, and no surprise if you're trying to recruit, but I think we saw a huge need today for both skilled workers, so folks who are more experienced, because so many skilled workers retired, left, were let go, moved on, etc. But then there weren't really the entry-level workers to step up and be upskilled into those positions. So really critical need in both the lower level, lesser skilled, entry level, and the skilled workers too. Also saw a huge need, we asked a bunch of questions to businesses, but saw a huge need to really rebuild the connections piece, to build stronger networks within each of our different communities and regions across the state. And I have a couple slides on that too. And then, really seeing how we can help businesses through the recruitment process be innovative and creative. And, it used to be so much more that job seekers were the ones who had to adapt and do things for businesses. Now businesses find that they have to change and be more creative, probably more so now, and work harder at getting workers more so than they ever have before. So we have some, I think, good information to help with that too. On the recruitment, like I said, so I think of most interest for you would be that first column, manufacturing, construction industries, laborers, that lower skilled entry level, really high need. It is like the number one need out there in the industry. But then you go down the list, and also of high need are a lot more highly skilled jobs, tool makers and project managers, people with more experience. This spreads across all the different industries as well, so not just in yours. The why these jobs are hard to fill, why we can't find people to get these jobs, I think became very clear. That almost 50% of businesses said that they could not find qualified candidates, people with experience, with the right credential, with the right training, et cetera, et cetera. Down way below that, businesses thought that some government benefits were a barrier. They couldn't pay enough. They didn't have any applicants coming in, especially for the entry-level jobs. That the type of work that they were looking to fill jobs in was just very difficult, hands-on, and there might just not be a lot of appetite among job seekers to do that sort of work. Job market was tight, and then some shift schedule issues as well. Specifically on skills, we asked a couple different questions, one about non-technical skills and then about technical skills. So among your people who are applying for jobs, among people you just hired, what are the kind of skills that you're absolutely missing? On the non-technical side, communication skills, motivation, getting to work, critical thinking skills, detail, timeliness, criticism, all of these type of skills, I think the big takeaway here that we've seen is these are very high percentages that businesses are saying. 2/3 of businesses are saying some of these. Half of businesses, more than a third, are saying that these are not among job seekers and new employees. They do not have these skills. And that, I think, is very eye-opening for us to see, and something that we've been working around the state in partnership with the Business Council, with whom we conducted the survey, to really spread this word about to training providers, to education, because clearly there is a huge need out there. Specific to manufacturing and construction industries, you'll see here that really similar type of themes that, problem solving, critical thinking, motivation, communication, basic math skills was also very high up in your industry as well as being needed. And again, recruiting, I'm sure that's not a surprise for you in the least. On the technical side, we tended to see this skew more toward a lot of the engineering skills, mechanical skills, electrical skills being just very high need. But across the board, no matter the industry, the number one thing out there was basic digital literacy. Computer skills, down to like email and Word, Excel, huge need there on the skill set side, and we've been sharing this. Also interesting, about assessing your own company recruitment process. So when was the last time you actually did a review of how you're recruiting people? Almost 2/3, 64%, have done this in the last year. Almost half, 44%, have gone through their own process and reviewed it in the last 6 months. This makes sense. Businesses trying to get more creative, think of new ideas, making sure they're not putting up inadvertent barriers for job seekers. However, 1 in 4, almost 25%, said they have not gone through this process themselves in 5 years or longer. So there's definitely, an opportunity there for a number of businesses out there to really kind of take that step back and ask, what kind of things are they asking of job seekers that may be just getting in the way of finding some really good, high-quality candidates. I mentioned earlier this whole idea of partnerships in a region. So obviously we in government play a role, businesses play a role, different organizations that, membership organizations for businesses, but then our education system and higher ed, different training providers, obviously, and then all the different community partners who really support the network and support people through job training too. My big, I think, thing is we ask businesses to rank the quality of relationships in their region with all of these different partners. So the red here, and you can see the list of folks, the different organizations on the left side of your screen, the red is having no relationship. The blue is having a strong relationship. So you'll see very high numbers of businesses who said they have no relationship with a 2-year school, a 4-year school, with BOCES, with high schools, with P-Tech, with trades. 80% of businesses have no relationship with labor unions or middle schools or libraries. So yes, we have an immediate need, sure, to fill jobs, but as we look to the future and that longer term building that workforce pipeline, relationships, while they might have been there in the past and been strong, I hope we have the EFS out there of relationships that are absolutely off the charts and phenomenal. They are not there at scale, and businesses are feeling that.
I would presume.
Can we ask people to mute themselves if they're not speaking, please? Thank you.
In addition, thank you. In addition, we asked, from a business perspective, when did a local training provider in your region come to you and say, hey, we want to work with you, we want to get folks trained, get them into your jobs? Almost 60% of businesses said that has not happened either in the last 5 years, longer than 5 years, or it's never happened before. So the number of times I've sat across the table from an educator, school, college, a business, a labor union, and they're like, hey, no one calls me. If you pick up the phone and call partners in your community, I almost guarantee you're going to have a receptive person on the other end of that phone. So it is not a one-way conversation. It is definitely a two-way street, and I think there's a lot of desire out there to build and rebuild and grow the talent pipelines. As I said, it wasn't just the businesses we talked to job seekers too. So more than 4,000 job seekers took part in this survey, and they told us a lot of things. What became very clear is that the things that workers are looking for in jobs, that thing that they're expecting in the workplace, are changing. They're shifting. This was happening way before COVID, but it certainly was fast forwarded and I think exacerbated by COVID in a lot of different ways. And we see that, I guess, in specifics in the slides ahead. But coupled with that is we have people either on a permanent basis or a temporary basis, kind of to be determined, wanting to leave certain industries, wanting to go into certain industries. So we see a redeployment of workers, at least desired, underway right now. How that plays out, especially in the Delta variant and things like that, big question mark. The other thing is that definitely part of the I think addressing the questions that businesses are raising about the skill level, the experience level that job seekers are bringing to the table. There's a huge need for training and upskilling and reskilling. Businesses are obviously feeling that. Job seekers are feeling it too. And so they're definitely speaking to that need. Probably, I think it was about 60% of workers said they would be interested in looking for a different type of work. So not just what they did before. And then we asked why. So these are the type of things that they are after from their perspective. I don't think that's surprising, but they want to pursue a different type of work because of higher salary. They want a better work-life balance. Almost 50% want a better work-life balance. They want different schedules, different hours, that they are changing industries or changing occupations because there just aren't jobs available in their region today. Job security. We see a shift to jobs that have job security, that they got burned from their past industry or job, and they don't want to go back to that. And I think if you're a business looking to hire, these are certainly some interesting things to pay attention to here. So take salary out of the equation. What would make you, a job seeker, take a job? And this is what job seekers told us. 60% said flexible work scheduling was the thing they were desiring most, knowing full well that this is not necessarily something that, all of these are not something that every industry can do. This is what job seekers are telling us holistically, though. So they want more flexible scheduling. They want remote work options. Obviously, some industries that it's simply impossible, especially full-time. They're looking for more paid time off or just paid time off in general. They're looking to see kind of what are the articulated opportunities for the future. So what's your career path? Especially young people, the expectation is, you work certain years, what those steps up are. It's not just a dead end for you. And more than 25% of job seekers said that they were looking for that sort of thing in a job, in a career path. Transportation, childcare subsidies also on the list, and different bonuses as well, either a hiring bonus or a retention bonus after like a 6-month or 1 year type of engagement with the business, get the bonus. I mentioned that we are seeing this redeployment of workers, so I did add some annotations. So we said, what was your last job? What's your current job? I think in the construction industry, there are more people today looking to work in construction, which is pretty exciting. But I specifically included this because you may be getting a sense of the people and the skill sets of past jobs, people looking to leave retail and hospitality and personal service jobs, looking to get into other types of fields like healthcare is, on the increase, public administration, public sector jobs. But like I said, construction, manufacturing, like these are definitely seeing interest levels increase, perhaps not at the scale of some of the other industries, but, I think potentially it's one of these, what are the types of questions, what are the things we might be able to get out of someone who has retail experience that they could bring to the table that more traditional workers who have interest in the industry may not. So we can be a little more creative in that. Dispelling, I think, one of the big headlines and rumors out there is we asked job seekers point blank, do you make enough on UI, unemployment insurance, that you don't have to go back to the workplace? 77% said no, they don't. They have to go back to the workplace. They're not making enough on unemployment insurance. Only 6% said they were, and they didn't have to return. So this is, I think been a very easy kind of go-to as to why people aren't returning to the workplace, but the simple answer is it's much more complex than that. So we dug in and said, okay, what are the type of barriers that you're facing as you're looking for a role? A third of job seekers said age discrimination. And this tended to skew older. About 80% of people who said this were over age 45. but many were under age 45 too. People in their 20s said they faced age discrimination. Either they had proof of it or they had that perception as well. And then a whole chunk of ones that are not going to surprise you if you're looking for people, the right kind of experience, degrees, digital skills, modern skills, education or training, all of these. And I think this really speaks to people changing careers, changing industry, just interested in other types of work, but there's a huge need for training out there. And then a number of the other type of, transportation or childcare or elder care type of questions that we have found in the past to be barriers, but job seekers who definitely have identified that. But definitely there are, there's a huge need for training out there. I wanted to talk a little bit too, just about some of the services that we offer here. And like I said, I know a number of members here already use our services. We do job listings for businesses. We do, in the past, we've done some layoff aversions. We call it shared work. So I'll talk about that, but customer referrals, we refer people to you based on jobs. I know a number of you already use us, but if you don't, we have millions of job seekers in our database to whom we can point you and who we can point your way as well. So we have these no-cost recruitment services. Obviously, we want to save you time and money as much as possible. You can post your jobs to our job bank and reach those job seekers. We can also index them from your existing website. So that's a pretty cool opportunity. And like I said, we have a bank of millions of job seekers out there who we know their skills, we know their experience, we can help make that kind of match. We're doing career fairs as well. Right now they're virtual, but we hopefully will return to some in-person career fairs in the near future. But we have a great virtual platform and it's worked really well. We've worked with hundreds of businesses in the past 6 months, 9 months or so. And then we've also connected thousands of workers to the job fairs too, which is pretty great. Like I said, shared work. Another one, if there's a temporary layoff, obviously during COVID, we use this quite a bit. But we allow job seekers to collect partial unemployment insurance benefits while getting paid, so their hours are reduced, and they collect unemployment insurance for that other portion. What this means to a business is they're not laying off, they're not losing that job, that worker. You're keeping them on the payroll, they're retaining them, and then they don't have to retrain and rehire and go through that added expense as well. So it's good for the business, good for the worker as well. Another one of our big services is we will work with you to connect to different tax credits, to other hiring incentives. So we'll try to be really creative in finding ways to save you money and attract really good talent as well for you. And we can also talk to you about different available training funds that are out there that may be coming down the pike as well to help you kind of grow your workforce, to do some internal like on-the-job training or access some other type of training opportunities. And then we provide labor market information as well. So we have a huge research staff here to help kind of figure out, where to target workers in need and resources as well. And then don't want to not mention registered apprenticeship because this is a huge thing. New York State runs or Department of Labor rather runs the New York State Registered Apprenticeship Program. And I think there are definitely some trades that are very specific to your different industries that and I know there are a couple companies that use registered apprenticeship already. HVAC mechanic is one of the trades, so they'll over a period of time learn installation and safety practices, controls, and how to test systems. And then another big trade is the energy efficiency technician. So they'll learn all about different energy basics and the tools there, all the different materials that are used. They'll learn things about client interactions, how to do inspections, quality control, that sort of thing. But also other related trades like electricians, sheet metal workers, plumbers, steam fitters. These are all type of, I think, related trades that you might be interested in or exploring or something we can definitely talk about connecting into. But really the registered apprenticeship model, if you don't know, it's the earn while you learn. So someone comes day one, they have a job, and there's training. It builds a pipeline, the turnover is lower, the benefits are just really off the charts there for a lot of businesses as well. If you have questions, I would love to be your point of contact. Can definitely help you navigate to the right people within our agency. So my contact information is there, my email. And then if you go on our website, it's dol.ny.gov. There's a whole section all about recruiting your workforce. It literally is like one of the top buttons you click when you get to the site. And it can go through all of this in far greater detail than I've been able to cover this morning. So I can take questions now or at the end, but you tell me what would be most helpful.
Can you just post that last slide again with the website on it, please?
And what does everybody think? You want to move forward with the next presentation and save questions to the end so we have time? Or any pressing questions for Chris now? Thanks, Chris. That was so informative.
Awesome.
Chris, I just had a quick comment. This is Hal Smith.
Please.
I got to say that the NYSERDA's current OJT program that they have has been a real blessing to most of us. And you know, I know personally we're able to use that in conjunction with registered apprenticeship programs. So we bring an OJT person in and then we get them enrolled and they're taking classes 1 or 2 nights a week. And that's just been spectacular. And it's been just huge for us. So and the OJT seems to, because a lot of the training we need is very specific to different manufacturers, different types of work, and that really does it for us versus, you know, we also have relationships with some of the area BOCES and such, and they get generalized training and it's good, but nothing can compare to a true OJT. So I'm just cheering for that.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate that. And, you know, it's definitely, you know, Dell and NYSERDA folks can, you know, talk to that, but, you know, something that we would love to, you know, connect you into as well, if we can help at all on that front. No, and I think there's, you know, hearing from businesses and seeing a lot of the results, the K-12, even higher ed, doesn't necessarily do what it used to. And I think a lot of businesses out there are really looking to, you know, you know, invest in their workforce. And I commend all of you for doing that. Obviously, you're benefiting from it, but you're really changing lives at the same time. That's pretty cool.